What's up, folks? Dan here from BeAGameCharacter.com, and today we are making bone broth, which is a really awesome brew that's going to give you lots of protein, lots of collagen, and lots of calcium. It's a good base for a whole bunch of different recipes that we're going to move on to. But for starters, we're going to make just the broth today. So you can see here I've got a pile of bones and a pan. So what I've got here is about 5.5 pounds of beef bones. Now these are marrow bones, which you can get them at your shop, your supermarket. If you go to a butcher, you can get nice bones. You can get marrow bones, but you can also get knuckle bones and tail bones and stuff like that. But I only have my supermarket to work with. I don't have a butcher in town. So I just went to the supermarket. You can get these. They're typically sold for stews, but we're going to use them for our broth today. And you're just going to stack them up on your pan to start, just like that. Then we're going to take our tray of bones. We're going to stick them in our oven that we preheated to 400 degrees. Slide them in. And we're going to let those roast for 20 minutes. Alright, 20 minutes has passed. I'm going to pop up in that oven, take a look at these. Oh yeah. You can see the bones have taken on a nice brown caramelized look to them. 20 minutes, 400 degrees does a lot. So now I've got a large stew pot. We're going to add our bones into the pot. I wish you could smell these. These smell delicious. And then to that pot, I've got a whole head of garlic and a whole white onion. And I've just roughly chopped these. I didn't even worry about taking all the paper off the garlic because all this is going to get strained out in the end. And it's just for flavor and nutrients. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and add the garlic in. And the onion. And then we're going to fill up that pot until the water almost reaches the edge. Remember, the more water you add, the more broth you end up with at the end. And we're going to be boiling this for a long time, so we're going to lose a fair amount of water through the cooking process. Now, something I want to note is that some people like to add carrots and celery to their bone broth, but personally, carrots, I think, add too much sugar and sweetness to the broth. If I'm going to use the broth for something I want carrot flavor in it, I'm just going to add the carrots directly into whatever it is I'm cooking with the broth. And the other thing is the celery does not really add that much in terms of a flavor profile or even nutrition. So I just left those out for now. We're going with just the onions and the garlic for a little flavor and plus the medicinal properties of the garlic and the onions. After that, you're going to place your pot on the burner, turn it on high, and just let it chill there until it boils. Now once you got your pot, your stock pot to a rolling boil, you go ahead and you're going to stir it up and you're going to stir in 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. The apple cider vinegar helps to break down and extract the calcium and the collagen from the bones themselves. So you add that in, and then what you're going to do is you're going to turn down the heat so that it comes down to a low simmer. And now here comes the long part. You're just going to turn it down, let it come to a low simmer, and you're going to let it just sit there, and you're going to simmer for 8 hours at a minimum. Up to 24 hours, but at least 8 hours to help extract all the nutrients from those bones, all the calcium, all the collagen, all the protein. So let that sit and simmer. Now, some people like to, you're going to notice there's going to be a foam collecting on the top here. Some people like to skim the foam off. It's some excess fat and excess protein. But I like to just leave it in there because it's not going to hurt you. And you're going to strain out all the solids anyway, so any of the foam or fat that doesn't get mixed back into the broth as it cooks is going to get strained out with the solids anyway. And honestly, a lot of the stuff that collects on the top is just protein anyway. It doesn't look great, but once you mix it back in, you're not going to notice, and there's a lot of excess protein there you'll be losing if you take that out. So again, you're going to turn it down, let it sit at a low simmer on low heat for at least 8 hours. Maximum of 24 hours, but at least 8 hours. We're going to leave that be for now. We're going to check in a long time from now. Alright, so we've been cooking for a little over 8 hours now, closer to 9. Like I said, you can do this for up to 24 hours, but you just got to make sure that you put a lid on so you don't lose a lot of liquid. I did say I wasn't going to skim the fat out, although there ended up being a lot of fat, so I skimmed out probably about 2 cups worth of fat off the top. There's still a lot in there, you'll be able to see when I open up, but ta-da! Now, I know it doesn't look like much, but you have no idea how this smells. It smells amazing. Very strong beef smell to it, so if you're not a big beef fan, it might not smell great to you, but I can't wait. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn the heat off. I'm going to go ahead and take the pot off. We're going to return to our prep area. So now I've got my bone broth pot here. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fish out the bones. And you can see these cooked all the way through. The marrow is all the way gone in the center of the bones. And a lot of it is broken down and is in the broth. Some of it's also floating around on the top. You saw that in the previous shot. I'm going to take the bones out first. And then what I'm going to do is right here, I've got a fine mesh strainer in this pot. And I'm going to strain it from one pot into the other because we don't want any of the solids. And some people even use a coffee filter for this. But that takes forever. I'm just going to take out as much as I can as far as the solids go now. And then we'll go ahead and let the strainer take care of the rest. Alright, that's it. All the bones are out. Next thing, I'm just going to take this. I've got my strainer set up, like I said. I'm just going to pour it slowly through the strainer. Probably going to make a little bit of a mess, but that's why I got the towels down. And if you've got a lot of solids in there, see a lot of marrow floating around on top like I do, you can take it out as it's getting loaded up and dump it so it doesn't force any of it through the strainer. You can see it's starting to try to poke through there. And just finish off. And catch all that garlic and onion too. Let me just dump that back in the pot. And then from here, what I'm going to do is you want to cool the broth off as quickly as possible because there's a certain temperature at which bacteria grows beneficially, and the less time it spends in that frame, the less chance there is of getting any kind of non-beneficial bacteria in there. You don't want that. So for food preparation safety, what I'm doing here is I'm going to dump it into two wide containers, help spread it out a little bit. And if it's a wide, flat container, it's going to cool off more quickly. So I got these two Pyrex containers here. And I'm going to split it up as best I can between the two. You can see, look at that. That looks amazing. It smells so good. Have the rest in the next container. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fit everything in these two, but I'll at least spread it out a decent amount between the two and this pot. If there's a little left in the pot, that's fine. It'll cool off in there too. Yeah, I think that's the most I'm going to fit in that one. And then finally, you can add some ice cubes as well. It's alright if you water it down a little bit. The ice cubes aren't going to do that much, and they'll make it cool off that much faster. Keep any harmful bacteria from growing. Oop. There we go. And that's it. It's going to cool down. When it cools down, it might be a little gelatinous. That's fine. That's actually good because it's loaded with protein and good fats. So you want to let that cool down. Then once it gets cold, about room temperature, you can go ahead and put it in your fridge. You can freeze it too if you're not going to use it all, within like a week or so. You can freeze whatever you're not going to use in that first week, and it'll keep for quite a while. But you want to make sure it's refrigerated. Again, food safety first. And you go ahead and use it in a bunch of recipes. Anything that calls for broth, you can use it. A lot of people actually will drink it straight as well. It's loaded with protein, collagen, good fats. You had the nutrients of the garlic and the onion in there as well. So you can just take this straight. I know there are people that it's a trendy thing now to do bone broth for breakfast, apparently. I don't know. I'm not sure I do a breakfast food out of this. But we're actually going to turn this into a yummy soup. So I'm going to link that video in the next. We're going to turn it into Senzu Bean Soup inspired by Jack's Blades video. If you don't watch Jack's Blades, you should. He's another guy. He does fitness videos for like anime characters and stuff like that here on YouTube. So that's it. That's how to make bone broth. It takes a long time, but most of it's relatively low maintenance, and it's super worth it. You can just put the pot on, let it sit. I was doing stuff around the house all day. Let it cook for like, I boiled that for about 9 hours. And then that's it. You see how easy it was there. Just strain it out, take out the bones, done. There you go. Bone broth, delicious, nutritious, excellent for you. So thank you for watching. Make sure to check out the Senzu Bean Soup video, which I'm going to upload next. And as always, remember, live boldly, change the world, and continue to be awesome. Bye-bye.